Imagine this. It's January 1943. The whole world is deep in the throes of war. But if you picked up a newspaper, you'd see headlines about the global conflict sharing the front page with a totally different kind of battle, a sensational Hollywood trial that had absolutely everyone talking. And this right here, this front page from the Daily Iowan says it all. You've got this huge headline up top, Soviets gain momentum. But look right next to it, with just as much real estate, Betty Hansen testifies in Flynn trial. It's just wild to see a world war and a celebrity scandal fighting for attention on the very same day. The trial was a complete media circus, and the reporting was pure drama. I mean, the story kicks off with this incredibly emotional scene, a line that's perfectly written to just pull you right into the middle of the scandal. So, to really get why this trial captivated an entire nation, we first need to understand the man at the very center of it all, Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn? I mean, this guy was the quintessential romantic hero of the 30s and 40s. On screen, he was the dashing, swashbuckling adventurer. Off-screen, he had this notorious reputation as a playboy. And in 1943, those two personas were about to collide in a courtroom drama that would change his life forever. Flynn's rise to stardom was honestly meteoric. He comes over from England, signs with Warner Brothers, and bam, he's an overnight sensation with the movie Captain Blood. He even becomes a proud U.S. citizen in 1942. But right at the peak of his fame, his whole world just imploded with these explosive accusations. And the charges were about as serious as it gets. Two teenage girls, Betty Hansen and Peggy Satterlee, accused Hollywood's biggest romantic star of statutory rape. This was way more than just a scandal. This could end his career and send him to prison for a very long time. But what makes this story so fascinating is the backdrop. I mean, think about it. While Hollywood is completely consumed by the Flynn trial, the rest of the world is literally engulfed in the flames of World War II. On one side of the paper, you've got a battle for the fate of the entire world. And on the other, a battle for the fate of one movie star. This contrast was not lost on the American public, and it only added fuel to the fire of the controversy around him. You know, as young men all across America were being drafted and sent overseas to fight, a really big question started to hang in the air. Why wasn't Errol Flynn, this picture of health and heroism on screen, in uniform? That question, on top of the trial, really started to chip away at his public image. Well, the truth was a lot more complicated than the public knew. He looked like the epitome of health, but he was actually suffering from a whole list of problems, including tuberculosis and malaria. But his studio, Warner Brothers, decided to hide his health issues to protect his heroic image. So they basically let him take the heat from the public. Okay, so with his career and his freedom hanging by a thread, Flynn knew he needed the absolute best legal defense that money could buy, and that is exactly what he got. Enter Jerry Giesler. This guy was the high-powered attorney in Hollywood, the one you called to get the biggest stars out of the biggest trouble. Giesler was a master of courtroom strategy, and boy, would he need every single trick in his playbook for this one. Giesler's strategy was as brilliant as it was controversial. He knew he couldn't win just by defending Flynn. No, instead, he decided to go on the attack, to shift the entire focus of the trial away from the accused and onto the accusers. And his strategy was just ruthless. He put Betty Hansen and Peggy Satterlee on the stand and relentlessly attacked their character, painting them as promiscuous, as untrustworthy. In Giesler's courtroom, the victims were effectively turned into the villains. And it worked. After a trial that had the entire country on the edge of its seat, the jury came back with a verdict of not guilty. Errol Flynn was a free man. But here's the thing. While Flynn might have won his case in the court of law, the court of public opinion, well, that was a whole other story. So yes, legally, he was innocent, but the trial had taken a massive toll. All the scandalous testimony, the sensational headlines, the brutal way his accusers were treated, it left a permanent stain on his reputation. He won the battle, but he had definitely lost the war for his public image. That romantic hero of the silver screen was now a tainted figure. The magic that had once surrounded him was just gone. His carefully crafted image was shattered, and it was really beyond repair. The trial really marked the beginning of a long, painful decline for Flynn. In 1950, Warner Brothers dropped him. The rest of the 50s were a real struggle. financial problems, a string of forgettable movies. He had a brief comeback in 57, but he died just 2 years later, a shadow of the star he once was. The Errol Flynn trial is just one of those timeless stories, right? A cautionary tale that still resonates today, especially in our own age of celebrity scandals. It's a powerful reminder that while the law delivers a verdict, it's often the court of public opinion that's the final judge. And it leaves us with a question that's as relevant now as it was then. Can a public image, once it's been shattered, ever truly be put back together again?